Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about ratchets. Primarily maintenance on them. It's the big thing that even the most seasoned mechanic tends to think to forget, even though they could have 7 vehicles all well maintained, purring like a kitten. It's the one thing that I feel everybody just neglects is their ratchet, the one major tool in the toolbox. So let's go through a few items on ratchet maintenance, how to take them apart, and what to kind of look for. There's several different types of ratchets. There's your flex head ratchets, there's your standard pear type ratchet, there's your round ratchets, and each one of these is fastened, except for these two in the center, fastened a little differently. So what do I mean by they're fastened a little differently? Well, if you take a look at these type, these ones have a Torx head right in the center that holds the entire ratcheting mechanism together, versus this style, which has Torx heads here and here holding it together. This, yes, it has the fasteners here and here, but these are standard Phillips heads. And then you've got your clip retaining style, such as this one here. Now we're going to be talking about, in this, Paul type ratchets, not the 0 degree that both Cobalt and Snap-on produce. That's a different ball game. I've been playing around with that one myself. But this is general maintenance, what you should do, how often you should do it, and what to look for when you are doing it. Now, these ones are not my dailies. This is certainly not my daily 1/2-inch drive. And this one is in need of love, because I've kind of been daily on this one. But the one that I do maintain the most is this one. Before I crank on that one, this is the same style internal mechanism as my daily, but I don't use this one as often because it's the 1/4-inch drive. I maybe pull this one out once or twice a year, but it's one that I do take with me in the tool bag when I need to go somewhere. But I don't maintain this as well as I should. I know I should maintain it better, but this is what it kind of sounds like. Pump, okay, pump, shut off. That's what that one sounds like. This one I've already taken apart, I've already cleaned it up, and I've already lubricated it. And I don't even know if you can hear it, but I don't even know if you can hear that, but that's the way that one of this style, when I get done with it, that's the way it sounds. And it is, in fact, turning. Just to give you a as you can see, it is turning. So, that's something to keep in mind. That a well-oiled ratchet will perform better. But you're saying, well, why should I do it? A ratchet is just like any other machine, whether it's the V8 motor that's in your truck or a printing press. It all needs to be maintained, lubricated, and cleaned periodically. Now, I'm going to set these off to the side because what we're going to do is we're actually going to tear this one apart, and I'm going to show you folks what I am going to do to clean and maintain this ratchet. Now, if it's your daily ratchet, I would recommend doing this about every month. Some tool dealers would want you to do it even sooner, weekly, but come on, let's face it, that's a lot of maintenance. But on a ratchet that you're not using every day, you maybe use once a month or twice a year, you should at least do this maintenance to a ratchet once a year. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to disassemble this ratchet, and you're going to see why, because this one's been knocking around in my tool bag for about a year and a half now. You're going to see why it needs to be cleaned, maintained, and there you go. You can see the surface rust. Let me get a towel, paper towel here. Dollar store paper towels here. And you can see it has surface rust. Now, don't be alarmed if you have surface rust. What I would recommend, if you've got surface rust, get yourself a penetrant oil. There's several on the market today. And there's even protectants such as fluid film and what have you. Now, when you're maintaining your ratchet, the worst thing that you can put in a ratchet is this product that some people have just an absolute affliction with using on everything, and that's anti-seize. Don't ever use anti-seize on your ratchet. It's not a lubricant for these. This is designed as a friction modifier. It allows grinding to go on, essentially. So don't ever use this to lubricate your ratchet. Use something, a light machine oil, something that is actual lubricant. What I've been trying out recently is the Super Lube. Normally, when I take apart ratchets, I would hit them with moly grease. That is my typical go-to after I've gotten it cleaned out, whether I use WD-40, PB Blaster, 3-in-1, whatever. Whatever I have on hand that day is what I typically use. So, let's go with the one that everybody knows, trusts, and has been around for decades now. We're going to just hit the inside of this with WD-40. And we're going to use the paper towel to just come in here and work out all of the rust. you want to get as much rust as you possibly can. I mean, I'm not saying stay here for 3 or 4 hours and get out every microscopic piece of it, but at least get the bulk of the majority out of it. Because this is money. This is your money. This is what you're spending good money to fix your car, your truck, your boat, or for some of you, you are mechanics. So take your time. This is your livelihood for some of you. So we got all the rust out of that. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to get the light surface rust off of this. Oh, look at that. I think my paper towel's hitting the big one. So let me grab another here real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually spray it on the paper towel. And I'm going to work it through the paper towel. And you know, you want to do it until you get most of the rust out. Because the last thing you need is for your ratchet to break down. You know, I mean, you're in the middle of something, whether you're a DIYer or a professional mechanic, it's the worst thing when you're doing a job and your favorite ratchet decides to die. And the big thing about doing this is that it prevents premature death of your ratchet. So keep that in mind, that you do need to lubricate these every once in a while. Take and spray the ball, and what I'll do is I'll take an extension and I'll work the ball. And do that a couple times and make sure that all of your parts are nice and coated with whatever lubricant you want. You know, take the back cap. Get the back cap nice and clean. Don't forget the back cap, because that's what a lot of people do. They forget the back cap. Or they forget the inside of the ratchet. They only do the pawl and the head. You know, you gotta do the inside of this thing. It's a machine, just like anything else. So we're also gonna do the pawl. Do the pawl. This is a single pawl design. You only gotta worry about one pawl, and you know, you might want to run the pawl through the degreaser or whatever the heck you're using to clean off the rust 1 or 2 times. I prefer WD-40 for doing this, because if I've got to rush through it, I know that it's got somewhat of lubrication on it. But if you've got the time, sit down on a weekend and just go through and clean these. Clean all your parts, and your ratchet will live long time. Now, you put it back together. Now, if you decide to go with an oil route, this is the time that you would do it. This is the time you would put the oil in. But I'm using a grease type, so the time to put it in is before you put the pawl and the guts in. And you kind of want to get a big glob. Now this is where you're going to get dirty. So if you don't like getting dirty, go get yourself a pair of latex gloves, whatever. But just work this in there. Make sure it's in there into all the teeth nice and good. And like I said, I've just been trying this stuff out. I don't know if I'd recommend it or if I wouldn't. It works good. Now, make sure you got your bulb, your mechanism all put back together. You might want to just load this thing up with grease, like some people. That's your flavor. Whatever. And then make sure you got the back cap put back on. And screw it back together. And get it nice and snug. And then just work it through. Now, how I work it through and how you work it through, that's your prerogative. But the way I do it is I take an extension and I just roll it in my hand. Now, you can hear that's a hell of a good improvement on this ratchet. So, this is a heck of a lot better than what it came in as. So, I hope that this helped you, and I hope that you will comment, rate, subscribe for more videos, and I will see you next time.